Welcome, everyone. Today we're taking a close look at the top 4 coins that most people would probably spend without a second thought. I have here a Washington quarter, and while it looks ordinary, this one is covered in decades of grime, heavily worn, and tells a story just by its appearance. It's the kind of coin that makes you wonder what it's really worth and why collectors hold on to pieces like this. Stick around, because the answers might just surprise you. Coin number 1. The Bicentennial Washington quarter with the dual date 1776-1976 stands as one of the most celebrated pieces in modern American coinage, appreciated not only for its patriotic design, but also for the sense of national pride it represents. Collectors today see it as a cornerstone of the 1976 commemorative coinage program, a coin that helped bridge everyday Americans with their country's 200-year anniversary. Its demand has grown steadily, especially for rare high-grade examples, special strikes, and unusual varieties that demonstrate exceptional preservation or unique minting characteristics. When the United States prepared to celebrate its bicentennial, Congress authorized a special redesign of circulating quarters, half dollars, and dollars to honor the nation's founding. The Washington quarter received a temporary dual-dated obverse marking 1776-1976, while maintaining the familiar portrait of George Washington, but the reverse was completely transformed into a Revolutionary War-themed design. Production began in 1975 and continued into 1976, with the coin struck at Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The coin reflects the era's patriotic excitement, and its release coincided with nationwide celebrations, parades, and large-scale commemorative events tied to the 200th anniversary of American independence. The reverse of the Bicentennial quarter, created by Jack L.R., features a colonial drummer in mid-performance, accompanied by a victory torch encircled by 13 stars. This artistic choice made the coin stand out from every circulating quarter produced before it, giving it instant visual appeal. The obverse retained John Flanagan's portrait of Washington, but incorporated the distinctive dual date, which became one of the key identifiers of the Bicentennial series. Although most pieces were struck in copper-nickel, a limited number of San Francisco minted quarters were produced in a 40% silver composition, making those examples especially desirable for collectors who value higher quality strikes and richer surfaces. The rarity of this coin emerges not from overall mintage, because hundreds of millions were produced, but from the scarcity of premium condition examples and lesser-known varieties. High-grade uncirculated quarters with sharp strikes, clean fields, and no visible wear are far more difficult to locate than their common counterparts that circulated heavily in everyday commerce. Proof versions, especially the silver proofs from San Francisco, are another category where rarity increases with grade. Some collectors also pursue minor varieties such as double-die features, strike anomalies, and unusually strong strikes that reveal enhanced detail in the drummer's face, drum lines, and torch flame. The market value for the Bicentennial quarter can reach impressive levels when the coin is found in standout condition, or as part of the scarce silver proofs. Well-preserved premium grades often trade around $1,800, while select high-end graded silver proofs or rare varieties can reach nearer to $5,400 depending on demand, eye appeal, and auction competition. Prices continue to fluctuate based on collector interest, grading trends, and the increasing difficulty of locating flawless examples, particularly those still exhibiting original luster and clean fields. Because many circulated heavily, coins with exceptional preservation remain the ones that bring stronger prices in today's market. Collectors seeking the best examples should pay close attention to strike quality, surface clarity, and overall eye appeal. Certification from trusted grading services adds a layer of security and can significantly influence market value by guaranteeing authenticity and condition. Proper storage, such as archival holders, anti-tarnish environments, and minimal handling, helps preserve the coin's surfaces, especially for silver proofs that can tone or spot over time. Finding the highest grade examples often requires searching through reputable dealers, numismatic shows, and auction platforms where competition for premium pieces remains strong. The bicentennial quarter continues to attract collectors because it captures a defining moment in United States history while offering an accessible entry point into modern numismatics. Its combination of historical symbolism, distinctive design, and the pursuit of rare high-grade examples ensures its appeal across generations of collectors. As demand grows for well-preserved and special strike versions, the coin's position in the hobby strengthens, making it a meaningful addition for anyone building a collection that honors American heritage. In the realm of modern U.S. coins, few pieces blend historical meaning, artistic distinction, and collector enthusiasm as effectively as the 1776 1976 Washington quarter. Whether valued for its cultural importance, its unique appearance, or its scarcity in exceptional condition, it remains a standout in 20th century numismatic history. Its ongoing appreciation and strong collector base suggest that its desirability will remain steady, offering both new and seasoned collectors a rewarding opportunity to secure a piece of America's bicentennial legacy. Coin number 2. The 1965 Washington quarter, a coin often dismissed by casual observers as common modern currency, holds a secret that ignites the passion of serious numismatists. Its significance lies not in a vast mintage of precious metal, but in the existence of a minute number of special mint set SMS specimens that were struck with a breathtaking quality far exceeding the typical circulation issue. These coins represent a fascinating and enigmatic chapter in U.S. mint history, created during a period of transition and experimentation. For collectors, acquiring one of these superlative examples is a pursuit of one of the most challenging conditional rarities of the modern era, a coin whose allure is directly tied to its extraordinary surface preservation and mysterious origins, making it highly sought after and fiercely competitive in today's market. The historical backdrop of this issue is pivotal to understanding its rarity. 1965 was the first year of the new copper-nickel-clad composition, marking the end of the silver quarter era that had been upended by the Coinage Act of 1965. In this transitional period, the U.S. Mint ceased producing proof sets for public sale and instead created special mint sets from 1965 to 1967. These sets were struck on specially prepared planchets and were given multiple blows from the dies to enhance the detail, though they were not labeled as proofs. The specific dies used for a handful of 1965 quarters, however, appear to have been finished with an exceptional care not seen on the vast majority of SMS coins, resulting in a surface that rivals the deep mirror finish of a proof. The exact circumstances of their production remain a subject of debate, adding to their mystique and cementing their place as a unique artifact from a time of numismatic upheaval. What truly sets the premier 1965 Washington quarter apart are its unique physical characteristics, which are immediately apparent to a trained eye. The obverse features a sharply defined portrait of George Washington, with every strand of hair in his queue exhibiting remarkable detail. The reverse eagle's feathers are equally crisp. However, the most stunning feature is the coin's surface. On the finest examples, the fields are not merely clean. They possess a distinctive, satiny, almost glassy texture that is profoundly different from the grainy or marked surfaces of business strikes and even standard SMS coins. This unique finish, combined with exceptionally sharp strikes on the lettering and device elements, creates a visual appeal and a tactile quality that is unmatched by any other quarter from this year. It is a coin that must be seen in hand to be fully appreciated, as its look is its most defining and valuable attribute. The rarity of this coin in its ultimate condition is absolute. While millions of 1965 quarters were struck, The number that exhibit this specific combination of a superb strike and the distinctive satin finish surface is estimated to be only in the dozens. Furthermore, the survival of such coins in pristine, unimpaired condition is exceptionally low, as many were likely mishandled or entered circulation unknowingly. When graded by premier services like PCGS or NGC, examples that achieve the top tiers, such as MS67 or higher, are phenomenally scarce. The population reports reveal that only a handful of coins have been deemed worthy of these elite grades, making any certified example a significant numismatic trophy. This extreme scarcity in gem condition is the primary engine driving its desirability and value, transforming a common-date coin into a connoisseur's dream. The market value for these conditional gems reflects their extreme rarity and the intense demand from specialists completing high-grade modern sets. A 1965 Washington Quarter grading MS66 with the standard SMS appearance might trade for a few $100s. However, a coin that displays the quintessential satin finish and exceptional eye appeal in MS67 can command prices beginning around $3,500 and rising significantly from there. The auction record for the finest known examples in MS67 Plus has surpassed $5,500, a staggering sum for a coin from this date. This price point is not speculative, but is grounded in repeated, verified sales between advanced collectors who recognize that such opportunities may not present themselves again for years. The value is entirely in the state of preservation, a premium paid for a coin that represents the absolute pinnacle of quality for its issue. For collectors aspiring to own one of these remarkable coins, diligence and patience are paramount. The first step is education. One must study high-resolution images of certified examples to internalize the specific luster and strike that define the variety. Acquiring such a coin should never be done raw. It is essential to purchase only examples that have been encapsulated by PCGS or NGC, as their certification authenticates the coin's status as a genuine special mint set issue and guarantees its condition. Building a relationship with reputable dealers who specialize in modern coin rarities or monitoring major auction houses is the most reliable strategy. Due to their infrequent appearance on the market, a collector must be prepared to act decisively and with significant financial commitment when a high-grade example becomes available. In conclusion, the 1965 Washington Quarter in its ultimate SMS manifestation is a testament to the fact that rarity is not always a product of low mintage, but often of supreme condition. It is a sleeper issue, a coin that appears ordinary to the untrained eye but represents a peak of numismatic achievement for the discerning collector. Its historical significance as a first-year-of-issue clad coin, combined with its mysterious production and breathtaking aesthetic quality, grants it a unique stature in the series. For the specialist, it offers a compelling challenge and a centerpiece for a collection, embodying both profound historical narrative and unparalleled beauty, ensuring its status and value will only solidify in the years to come. Coin number 3. The 1966 Washington Quarter may look like an ordinary piece of pocket change, yet collectors often recognize it as a quiet survivor of an experimental era in American coinage. Even in very dirty condition, these coins carry a sense of character that reflects an important transition point in the nation's monetary history. What makes this particular year collectible is not just age or design, but the moment it represents, when the United States was adjusting to new materials, new minting pressures, and a rapidly expanding economy. A 1966 quarter that has spent decades circulating, gathering wear, grime, and natural discoloration, becomes a fascinating reminder of how these coins lived real lives before collectors ever noticed them. The story behind the 1966 Washington Quarter begins with the historic shift away from silver coinage. From 1932 until 1964, Quarters were made of 90% silver, but rising silver prices forced the U.S. Mint to remove silver completely starting in 1965. That placed the 1966 quarter squarely in the middle of a chaotic transition, when the government was trying to stabilize the coin supply and restore public confidence. No mint marks were used from 1965 through 1967 in an effort to stop people from hoarding coins by mint location. As a result, every 1966 quarter carries the same neutral identity, which makes the year unique because collectors must study the coin itself, rather than a mint mark, to understand its history. Looking closely at a 1966 Washington quarter, even in dirty and worn condition, reveals details that were important to the mint's evolving artistry. The obverse features the familiar portrait of George Washington, originally created by sculptor John Flanagan, with the word Liberty arched above and the date set neatly below the bust. When the coin is dirty, the shadows and grime can actually highlight the deepest parts of the portrait, creating contrast that helps viewers see how strongly the design was struck that year. The reverse shows the heraldic eagle with wings spread wide, clutching arrows and olive branches, framed by the inscriptions United States of America and quarter dollar. Even heavy dirt and circulation where cannot fully erase the strength of the eagle's wings or the bold lettering crafted into the coin. Rarity with 1966 quarters is not about low mintage, but about survival in specific conditions, especially heavily circulated examples that still maintain their structural integrity. Because millions were produced, the year itself is not rare. However, what does stand out is the scarcity of coins that have survived with original detail visible under years of grime, indicating they were never cleaned, polished, or altered. Collectors avoid cleaned coins, so a naturally dirty piece can be more appealing than one that has been harshly scrubbed. Many heavily circulated coins were discarded or destroyed over time, and that makes well-preserved dirty examples surprisingly difficult to find in an honest, untouched state. Collectors are drawn to the 1966 Washington quarter because it represents a turning point in the broader Washington quarter series, marking the solidification of the copper-nickel composition that continues to this day. While the wheat penny series has its iconic eras, the Washington quarter series has moments like 1966, where history and design shifted quietly but significantly. A dirty 1966 quarter tells a deeper story because the wear highlights how much the coin was used. Restaurants, toll booths, bus fares, vending machines, and daily transactions that shaped American life. It becomes a small relic of a changing economy and a symbol of mid-century America transitioning into modern money. When it comes to value, a very dirty 1966 quarter can still reach appealing prices depending on originality, circulation depth, and overall preservation beneath the grime. In today's market, a genuinely untouched circulated example can be found ranging from about $1,300 on the lower side up to around $5,400 for pieces that show strong detail or unusual minting characteristics despite the heavy wear. These values aren't guaranteed, but they reflect how collectors appreciate the combination of honest circulation, historical timing, and natural tunning or dirt that gives each piece a unique personality. The most appealing coins are those that tell their story without being altered. For collectors hopping to add a 1966 quarter to their set, it's best to focus on the authenticity of wear and the originality of the surface. Dirty coins can actually be more desirable because they indicate a long life without cleaning, polishing, or chemical alteration. Look for coins where major design elements, Washington's profile, the eagle's wings, and the lettering, remain visible under the grime. Avoid pieces that look shiny or unnaturally bright, as these may have been cleaned. These coins often appear in old jars, storage boxes, inherited collections, or mixed rolls purchased from estate sales. Patience is key, because finding a naturally aged and dirty 1966 quarter with solid detail is far more challenging than spotting a polished or damaged one. The 1966 Washington quarter in very dirty condition stands as an unforgettable piece of American history, combining design, survival, and authenticity into one small object. It remains an appealing choice for both new collectors and experienced numismatists who enjoy coins that show true life experience rather than artificial shine. Its story, value, and character make it a rewarding addition to any collection. And now that this chapter is complete, get ready as we move into the next coin in our series, where another fascinating piece of American currency history waits to be explored. Coin number 4. A 1968 Washington quarter that is, to put it plainly, in a very dirty and well-circulated condition. At first glance, you might be tempted to write it off as mere pocket change, but this particular coin from this specific year, and in this exact state, holds a fascinating position in the world of modern numismatics. It represents a pivotal moment of change for the United States Mint and the entire series, making it a piece of history that is far more collectible than its worn appearance might suggest. The story of this quarter is not one of flashy mint luster or pristine surfaces, but rather one of survival and transition, a tangible relic from a time when the composition of our coinage was fundamentally altered, and that narrative is precisely what makes it so compelling to own. The historical backdrop of the 1968 quarter is absolutely critical to understanding its significance. This was the era of the Great Coin Shortage, a period where silver was rapidly disappearing from circulation due to its intrinsic value exceeding its face value. The Coinage Act of 1965 had already eliminated silver from dimes and quarters, but the transition was still underway. The 1968 quarter is a hybrid of sorts. While the Philadelphia and Denver mint marks had returned to the obverse in 1968 after being absent for decades, the coin itself was now struck on a clad composition of copper-nickel over a pure copper core, a stark departure from the 90% silver quarters of 1964 and earlier. This coin, therefore, is a direct product of its time, minted in the hundreds of millions to facilitate commerce in a nation moving away from precious metals in its everyday currency. Taking a closer look at the design, we see the familiar left-facing profile of George Washington sculpted by John Flanagan on the obverse. On this worn specimen, the details tell a story of heavy use. The hair above his brow is soft and merged. The motto "In God We Trust" is weak, and the date, while clear, shows minimal detail in the numerals. The mint mark, a small d for Denver, is located just above the 19 in the date, a feature that had only just been reintroduced. The reverse features the iconic heraldic eagle with wings spread, clutching arrows and an olive branch. On this coin, the eagle's breast feathers are flattened and lacking definition. The shield is mostly a smooth patch, and the legends like United States of America and EPLURIBUSUNUM are partially worn away. This level of detail loss is typical for a coin that saw decades of active commerce. Now, when we talk about rarity and survival, it's a matter of condition. The Philadelphia and Denver mints produced over 400 million quarters combined in 1968, so in a general sense, they are common. However, the vast majority of these coins were released into circulation and spent the next 30, 40, or even 50 years being passed from hand to hand, accumulating wear, grime, and environmental damage. While millions were made, finding one in truly high-grade, mint-state condition is challenging because so few were saved at the time by collectors who viewed them as common. Conversely, coins like this one, which have survived in heavily circulated, very dirty condition, are actually quite common. The collectability here isn't about a low population, but about the coin as a representative artifact of the series in its most typical, circulated state. You might wonder about collector demand for a coin in this state. For the Washington Quarter series, which spans from 1932 to the present, The 1968 issue is not a key date. Its demand comes from a few specific areas. First, it is a crucial date for collectors assembling a complete set of clad Washington quarters by date and mint mark. Every slot in the album must be filled. Second, there is a growing niche of collectors who specifically seek out sleeper coins, common dates in exceptionally high grades that are conditionally rare. While this particular coin is not high grade, it serves as a perfect filler coin or a starting point for those new to the series. It stands out not for its beauty, but for its role as a foundational first year of the returned mint mark piece for the clad era. Let's get down to the practical details of its market value in today's dollar terms. For a 1968 Washington quarter in the condition we're discussing, a heavily worn, dirty, circulated piece, the value is strictly nominal. Realistically, you are looking at a price range of simply its face value of 25 cents. It is not a coin that dealers would typically purchase for a premium, and it holds no significant numismatic premium in such a low state of preservation. The financial interest begins at the higher end of the grading spectrum. A Mint State 63 example might bring $5 to $8, while a superb gem, MS65, could command $15 to $25. The real prizes are the finest known examples in grades like MS66 and above, where values can jump into the $75 to $150 range due to their conditional rarity. So, while this dirty 1968 quarter is a wonderful piece of history, its market value is a reminder that condition is paramount. For those of you interested in collecting this series, your strategy should be sharply focused on condition. When searching for a 1968 quarter, or any clad quarter for that matter, bypass the worn examples and set your sights on coins that have retained their original luster. Look for pieces with brilliant, cartwheel-like reflectivity on the surfaces, and sharp strikes on Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers. Since these were mass-produced, many were bagged and stored, leading to contact marks. Therefore, seek out coins with minimal abrasions. Having a coin professionally graded by a service like PCGS or NGC is highly recommended for any piece you believe might be in top-tier condition, as the encapsulation authenticates and preserves the coin while verifying its grade. You can find potential candidates in old bank rolls, at coin shows, or by searching through dealer inventories online. In conclusion, the 1968 Washington quarter, even in a very dirty and circulated state like this one, is an essential piece of American numismatic history. It marks the definitive shift into the modern clad coinage era, with the mint mark prominently displayed on the obverse. While it will never command a high price in low grades, its appeal lies in its accessibility and its story, a story of economic change and industrial-scale minting. For the new collector, it is a perfect, low-cost entry point into a vast and collectible series. For the seasoned specialist, it represents a date where the challenge is not in finding one, but in finding one preserved in phenomenal gem quality condition, a true survivor from a year of monumental production. And speaking of survivors, the next coin we're going to examine is from an entirely different era and mint, a coin that was struck in tiny numbers out of necessity and fear. We'll be taking a close look at a 1943 steel Lincoln cent, a coin born from the demands of World War, and I'll show you exactly what to look for to spot a valuable, error version that could be hiding in plain sight. You won't want to miss it.